Just relax. Keep it happy. Make them believe. Play with the phone. Shake the phone. Play with the phone.
Oh, party people, party people, party people. Are we out there, party people? Give me a hell yes if you're out there. Be good to see y'all. Stand by while I adjust my screen to bring on special guests. Hi, everyone. It's your friend Colin. And I am super excited to tell you that the Los Angeles Dodgers are champions of the baseball world. World Series winner, champion, winners of championship winners, which is very exciting. You know, here in Dodgerland, were we in full panic mode last night? Maybe. Were we in very full panic mode after the Yankees got out to a 5-0 lead today with Aaron Judge going crazy and people hitting home runs? Yeah, we weren't feeling super great. But as I have said all season long, this team is never out of it. Never. Not with that offense. They are never out of a game. And thanks to the weirdest play that I think, will go down in World Series lore as a complete what the heck was this? The Dodgers scored 5 runs to tie the game and came back to win the World Series. Fundamentals, kids. Fundamentals. That's where it's at. You gotta fundamentalize. Stand by while I move this window over here so I can look at you. In the meantime, we are super excited to once again be joined by people we love to have on this show oh so very much. I am super happy and proud to introduce and bring to you TV's Mitch Massey. Mitch, are you there?
Yes.
Yes.
In Dodger colors.
Oh,
and
good.
I have to tell you that when I got done with my pool workout this evening and I got out of the water, it was 5-0. I said,
That's
I
right.
should just go back in the pool.
That's right.
And then I drove home. Dodgers hadn't had a hit. I drove home and I looked at things on Gamecast because Gamecast is like 2 pitches ahead of the
Right.
game itself, on TV.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, okay, all right. Boy, how do you describe the ill play and errors by the Yankees? But hey,
Oh,
opportunities presented itself, and
yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like 5-1, 5. Okay, we'll settle for 5-3, and then as
Yeah.
you're all alluding to, it's 5-5, and I said, hey, here we go.
It got worse and worse. And that's certainly true for our next guest. He's calling himself tonight Billy Smartin. It's TV's Stuart lead, Stu. How are
Stu.
you, friend? It's tough. It's tough. I know.
5-0. Did you say 5-0?
I said,
Yeah.
you know what? It's going to kind of go down in World Series lore, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Was yeah, that inning of disaster. It looked like Aaron Judge was playing softball on the 4th of July. You know, like that little miss from the dad. You know what I'm saying? Like he sort of had it, but he
Yes.
didn't have it. Kind of thing.
Well, no, he didn't have it. I can tell you that much.
He ran in nice though to it.
Yeah. That was something.
That hurt, boy. That was terrible. That was disgusting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I tell you, I have to say this to you guys. I know you're diehards.
Please.
Congratulations! Look, there's no other team I'd like to win as our younger brother, the LA Dodgers. You know what I'm saying? So congratulations. Have a good day. Have a good obviously winter, and we'll see you next hopefully winter again. You know what I mean? Or autumn, late autumn. But
yeah, well, I mean, look, we're thinking about like what was the was it a Falcons Patriots Super Bowl where the Falcons had a big lead?
28 points.
Yeah, is it like that?
Yeah,
is it that bad?
Definitely because it was home, right?
Yeah.
Even worse for us. Oh my God, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And we thought we had it. We had it in the bag. It was great. We were moving forward, and
the party was on.
Wilting a little bit, right? You know, and yikes, and like a machine gun of pitchers again for the Dodgers today, right?
Oh my goodness, they just kept throwing people out there. I was like, please.
I know. I heard it in your soul that he was just waiting to go back to LA to win. You know what I'm saying? Roberts. You know what I'm saying? I knew you.
Right.
But it was that inning. What were you thinking? You're like, holy shit. Holy shit.
It's one of those things where, when you go back, and this may be one of those parts where the pitch clock has a big impact on the game. Game just sped up on the Yankees in the 5th. It just sped up and kept going. And they couldn't, no one could take a moment. That if you had like a pro, and I saw that Rizzo went out to the mound a couple of times trying to kind of slow things down occasionally to kind of get things back in. All right. We know how to play baseball.
Yeah, I know. But they I know. And I guess Rizzo was cool that way because, he had that sort of reputation. But other than getting hit or hitting like a bad single, I mean, Rizzo, please, we need you. We needed you.
I know. It just seemed like, that it just one thing led to another, and then all of a sudden it became possible for the Dodgers to tie it, and then the Dodgers did tie it, and then from then on, I mean, the key inning I think was the bottom of the 5th. If they had given up that 6th run right then maybe New York could maintain its mojo, get its mojo back just a little bit. But the mojo was not to be. It was demotivating, and the Dodgers just kept pecking, and eventually you get those matchups you want, which is top of the Dodger lineup against very tired Yankee relievers, and a couple of sac flies, couple of walks, boom, boom, end of World Series. I know.
Oh my God.
It is pretty terrible. Let's take a look at the chat, see who's in. Shelly. Hi, Shelly. Shelly says, congratulations. What a fun, great series to watch. One guy that baseball history books for sure. One for the baseball. I bet that's what it is. Meanwhile, Lisa Calloway's in with woohoo, a common sentiment on this podcast, vidcast, live stream, whatever it is. Let's some more calisthenics and or gymnastics. I think that is from Lisa. Yeah, exciting. Amy Huggins, Amy, who is rooting for Game 6, even though I do love her. She says, congrats, I got nothing else. Happy for all Dodger fans. Well, Amy, I have no doubt the Phillies will be back in it very, very shortly, because they're very good. Don Rosnowski, what a game. Our pitcher's hanging by a thread. Oh, a thin thread. I mean, in the 9th, when they didn't score, in a 2-out or a 2 on, nobody out situation. And I think there was a couple of key calls went against the Dodgers tonight, ball strike calls that just were, unfortunate. But yeah, I thought, oh God, we're going to need that extra run, aren't we? And then if, let's say, Buehler pitches the bottom of the ninth and the Yankees tie it up, who's going to pitch the 10th? Kike Hernandez. I mean, who do they bring in at that point? Everybody is pretty well spent. Let's see. Congratulations, Colin, from my friend Ray. Ray, thank you very much. The Giants, which is Ray's team, won the World Series 3 times in 6 years, not that long ago. So he's finally letting the Dodgers share some of that wealth, which is very, very exciting. Good luck next year for the Giants. Yankees, says Rob Carlskin, should have played Fat Joe. Well, listen. Maybe they could have played Fat Joba Chamberlain. I'm not sure. They needed another pitcher tonight for sure. Mitch, when you see this Dodger team, what do you think? How do you compare them to past Dodger teams, and what was able to get them kind of over the hump this year?
They remind me of the '88 team, which just knew how to grind. They only had, obviously, they had a bunch of role players, the '88 team. And when you look at this, Ohtani had 1 hit in the series. It was just the confidence of every player through. Okay, it's our turn. We can do this. We can do this. And so just the motivation of the talent that the Dodgers have to be able to look upon themselves and say, hey, here we go. We just need to get a hit here, there. And everyone can hit in that lineup. But the grinding mentality, which goes back to Kike Hernandez, great live interview, we don't give a F, which is really the moniker for this team. And that's really how it breaks down, because the '88 team, they had Hershiser, 1 big home run, and then a bunch of role players that just, they did their thing. And this Dodger team has that same kind of chemistry, but obviously with just, 3 future Hall of Famers, if not 4, and then Buehler just coming through, and he'll get re-signed. Yeah. Flaherty probably won't get re-signed, but Buehler will get re-signed.
Flaherty's a local kid. He'll take a discount to stay. And I think, he obviously, when you're a baseball player, you like to play in, opportunities where you will get to play in the postseason. That's what brought Teoscar to town, and I'm hoping it will be enough to keep him a valuable contributor this year.
I mean, if they don't capture Soto, then they're going to get him. Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer, obviously, stay with what's working, and Teoscar was very much working this year. So, but then again, Juan Soto is still only 22 years old or something, which is kind of crazy when you.
It's right.
He's like 20. He's like 25, right, Stu? Is he 25?
He's younger every year.
26. He's 26.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's been in the league
the Benjamin Button of baseball players. I have no idea why. Yeah, so the team as currently constituted is definitely set up for a long run. They've got Mookie signed to a long-term deal, Freddie, of course, Ohtani, and Yamamoto, and I don't know. I think they obviously have a very good core, but something about the team this year just seemed different in a good way. And I don't know if it's that they've kind of finally grown up a little bit from that kind of underachieving team of the late 2010s. And 2020 was great, but there's always going to be that asterisk. I don't consider it an asterisk season, the COVID season. That felt like a real World Series to me, in that they played the full amount of playoffs. They didn't, but I heard Yankee fans chirping about, oh well, that 2020 championship doesn't count. That was like the COVID championship. That's like the NBA's bubble championship, doesn't really count. Stu, as a Yankee fan and a baseball fan, do you hold this year's Dodger championship in the same regard as the 2020 championship, or do you think that this one means more?
I hold it the COVID championship is definitely a championship. I have no problem with that at all. It was tough for everybody. The circumstances were crazy. We all know it. So if you won that year, God bless you. Yeah. This is a little more freer, though. You didn't have that sort of stigma of COVID over your, as a dark cloud. And yes, and to be honest with you, they're much more of a all-star team now. They are. The Justin Turners are gone, and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're. There used to be sort of a couple of stars, and then the boys in blue every year, and now they're just they just sparkle with diamonds. They just do, and and look, they just do better than the Yankees, and and hopefully the Yankees could come back as well. Soto would be great to have back on the team. Would be awesome. So we'd have a little more continuity, which would be nice. And they could both see each other again. Hopefully, they both get better pitching over the over the downtime, and but they definitely could come back and see each other. But I don't look. The Dodgers have always been interesting and successful, and you don't always win in the playoffs. You just don't.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
It's true.
I know there's a little bit of a stigma because it'd be nice to win 2 or 3, that kind of thing. But,
I think it was the way they flamed out in the first round each of the last 2 years was starting to get a little old. The teams like the Astros and Phillies who always make it to the league championship series. And, kind of that's the level that we're hoping for over the next couple of years. LCS or bust, World Series or bust, World Series wins, bonus, because there are too many different factors. The pitching barely held together this year. We'll have more on the pitching in just a second. Amy does have something. She thinks Dave Roberts. I do have something, Dave Roberts. Does this mean like Dave's job is safe? That people will stop bitching about how Dave uses pitchers in a weird way, asks people to do things they've never done before, like Walker Buehler getting his first ever career save in the clinching game of the World Series? I don't know.
Madison Bumgarner did that with the Giants.
Yeah, but I mean, if it works, Dave's a genius. But if it doesn't, you've got Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs, which is hit and miss. So
what happened with just Dave Roberts just takes orders? That's what you were mentioning about that yesterday. All of a sudden now, Dave's making moves now to change everything. Isn't he getting this from the top? So then why are you upset with Dave Roberts? Dave Roberts is he's nice, right? He gives a pretty good interview.
He's a good guy. He's a nice guy.
But it seems like the guys behind him. Never hear anything about I hate Dave Roberts. There's never a problem.
Right. No, Dave's just a mensch, as we would say.
But he's like Casey Stengel. He's dealing with 80 billion stars.
Right.
It's easy to do that,
Well, speaking of a mensch, comment in from my father-in-law, who is a mensch. TV's Dennis Moss. What happens if the pitchers on the DL get well in the offseason? If 7 of them are on the DL, if like 2 or 3 of them can even return to their old form,
6 of them are starters.
Yeah, maybe you don't need to re-sign a Flaherty if you can get a Tony Gonsolin or a Dustin May or a I don't know.
Those are the only 2, by the way.
Emmett Sheehan. If Kershaw can come in and give you something. I still think the best use case scenario for Clayton Kershaw is just tell him the season starts on August 1st. Have him just work out and get ready for and then just bring him in August 1st. Make sure he can pitch. He'll help you out with some key left-handers down the way. But I think it's time for him to graduate to crafty lefty status. But we will see. Amy says Dave Roberts is in large part responsible for the trophy. Yeah, I agree. Dawn's in with a difference between the COVID series and this one is the fans. Fans count. Well, you know what? Cardboard cutouts and, COVID-ridden Texans were definitely one type of audience to play in front of in 2020. Yes, it definitely, imagine the Freddie Freeman moment happening in a half-empty Texas stadium. It's not a thing at that point. It's like, whatever. Even then, like the dramatic homers in that series, Bellinger had a great homer in the NLCS that still was just kind of like, oh, it's mostly empty here. Having the fans, obviously, Dawn, is a huge difference. Tyler Glasnow. What about Tyler Glasnow? If he gets back now, it doesn't seem like he's in for the full TJ, right? Wasn't he just like some tiredness and some shoulder, need some rest? Yeah. So I think he should be able to come back next year. He's not going to be a year and a halfer. Morgan Massey is driving through LA during the parade on Friday. Will be crazy. Well, I hope you don't mean that in a Trump tweet kind of way. Be there, will be crazy. Yankee fans are going to storm the stage and take the trophy away from the Dodgers. Who says he's getting orders from the top? I've heard nothing about that. Which execs pulled what strings? I highly, highly recommend you read Molly Knight's book, Amy, The Best Team Money Can Buy, about the organizational structure of your Los Angeles Dodgers. And in fact, since I recently re-upped a subscription to her Substack, I do think I get an autographed copy. And so I'll try to get it for you because Molly is extremely well sourced into Dodger World following that book, which it's about 4 or 5 years old now, but does talk a lot about those, the 2010s Dodgers, I guess. And she, in the group chats and stuff, when it comes to the Landon Knack of it all. By the way, world champion Landon Knack is how you may address him now. She has good sources, and so when I guess Dave, does this may be the answer to my longstanding question: why did we move from a 1-1-1-1-1-1-1 bullpen game to a 1-4? We don't care what happens during those 4. 3, we don't care what happens during those 3-1 kind of bullpen games, where they just left guys in to take a beating. A poor, Honeywell, he may never recover, but I'm guessing the World Series ring will help him. I'm guessing he's going to be able to look at that bad boy and be like, you know what? I did get shellacked in Yankee Stadium in Game 4 of the World Series, and then we won the World Series in Game 5.
It's a bittersweet ring. It's a bittersweet ring for him.
No, it's just, yes, exactly. I think he did set a record of some kind. So for runs allowed per whatever. Fans make the team, says my dear friend Lisa Calloway. You are correct, Lisa. Fans do make the team. And it's funny because, there are certain people who I guess, do command personal fandom. You're LeBron's, you can be a LeBron fan, but for the most part, it's the team. It's the franchise that people root for. The players kind of can shuffle around a little bit, but I don't know. Mitch, I think last night, did we both predict that this was going to end in 5? I believe. I'm not mistaken.
That's always the hope. I really thought.
Yes, we'll have to go back.
I mean, check. Let's go back and just say that's what we did say.
Check
because
the tape.
only if people go back and want to fact check something. But for this audience right now, yes, we said 5.
We definitely called it.
And after it wasn't a sweep, then we said, well, we really said 5.
That's right.
So
exactly
that's what it is. It was how the Yankees played their season and how the Dodgers played their season. This exemplified both. The Yankees had struggles with some fundamentals throughout the season, and the Dodgers had abilities in which to say, hey, we're going to find a way to come back. And so it really illustrated the tale of 2 games, but the tale of 2 teams of how they really played the regular season, and it got showcased in the last 5 innings.
Yeah. Real quick, just wanted to say hi to my friend Viv Valenzuela. And hi, Viv. No relation to Fernando Valenzuela. This one is for Fernando and his family. Good call, Morgan. A great Dodger who must be, I'm hopeful his family is smiling tonight for the first time in a while, I'm guessing. Dennis Moss, here's a good comment. Series closer than the final result. 1 out away from losing Game 1. 1 crazy Yankee defensive inning, the difference in Game 5. That's true. I mean, without those two changes, we could be 3-2 headed back to LA, and Dodgers on the losing side of 3-2. So, Stu, we talked a lot about the Aaron Judge problem. It seemed like he got his act together in games 4 and 5. Was the Honeywell of it all, grooving AAA fastballs to Aaron Judge. Did that, you think, help get him back on track? And did Aaron do enough in the last 2 games to avoid the, wrath of Yankee fans going forward?
Let me start first of all with that terrible inning, that defensive inning. That seemed like the gods of Dodgers past were there. Honestly, it's just those kind of weird innings are odd for professionals. You know what I mean? Like 4 gaffes in an inning is just amazing. And that just seems, honestly, it's like destiny at that point, right? So sometimes that just happens, and you could just see it. You're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
And it hurts. Aaron Judge, is he going to escape a torn feathering? Certainly he will. Is he going to get hit anyhow? Certainly he will. If he would have done a little bit better, they would have been in a different situation. That's the easiest argument to make, and they're going to make it in New York all day long, right? If he just would have done this or that, or just if you weren't 1 for 8,000, that would be great.
Well, it would have been nice to have the Game 5 Judge in games 1 through 4. Certainly.
Yeah, and even if 5 was great, he hit the home run, and of course he got the great catch, and then he had the flub.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
highs and
it's
lows.
it was a Merkel boner. It was a Merkel boner. And,
Now, Stu, we've talked about this before. I don't want you referencing Merkel's boner on this show,
okay.
please. The glove
Yeah.
work of Judge.
If you want to do Arnold Palmer, we can go with that one.
Palmer's. Oh, wait a minute.
Love
The judge play is going to be shown, in Little League for years and years to come. Keep your eye on the ball, as they say. It really is, sometimes the little basics. And I know he was worried about Kike moving up or something. I mean, he's not going to take second on a shallow fly ball to the infield. So focus in on the catch. And, it was a good, a little cart before the horsey, obviously, but
to the
Yeah.
aggression and assertiveness of how the Dodgers are playing, it just gets in your head. Okay, are they going to run? Are they going to take that extra base?
Yeah, but
And that's
you
what the
can't take a
Dodgers
base.
do.
Yeah, but Mitch, you can't take a base on a guy who's 50 feet behind second by the time he makes the catch. It's just not physically possible.
But when he's running in and you start when you played years and years of baseball and you're running in and you're coming in, the ball you are coming in at this level and the ball's continuing to come in, so you have to match it. It's one thing, it's easier to run out. It's much tougher to run in on a baseball because your head's going like this when you're running in, and the baseball is doing this. So to run and the different speeds that go with it, and you really have to time it out. It's not as easy as a play as you think because you have two different elements bouncing, and you got to make the play as opposed to running out. Everything's in the same motion.
Yeah, I will say
wow,
the other.
Hold on, can I just say something, Mitch? That was
Please.
some politician answer there. He just made a dumb error. He's just a
dummy.
Yeah.
No fairness, like he just knew he had it. He just knew he had it.
On talking,
I'm here for the piece of every player. Yeah.
On Talking Yanks right now, John Boy is just saying he's just a dummy. I'm sure. But listen, Amy's chiming in with a little topic for the panel. I want to get back to some of the Yankees' defensive brain lapses tonight. But is Booney losing his job? I don't think Boone should lose his job over this. I mean, he seems like he's got control of the players. And by control, I mean respect. I think he's got the respect of the players. I think he's done a nice job. Mitch, I interviewed him way back in the day when he was at USC, and I was doing Cal Poly baseball play-by-play.
Yeah.
And he came up here for a game, and he was the only name of anybody I recognized on the roster. So we did a little interview about what it was like for his dad to be a big leaguer and whatever. Real nice guy. I've kind of followed his career ever since. And, I know my vote, no. Yankee Nation. Stuart, what say you?
No, I wouldn't get rid of him right now. He had success. He got to the World Series. It's one thing if you go to the World Series 4 times and you can't win, then you pull him a little bit. Go, oh my God, maybe that's maybe he's the problem.
The second coming of Marv Levy.
Usually it's not. It's just you get bad breaks and that kind of thing. Unless you're really making really bad calls and bad moves. But usually it is. I don't think so. I think he's good for the team right now. I think he's got grit. I think he's good that way. I don't know how awesome of a manager he is. I don't know. He doesn't get hit too much, that way. What do you guys think about his managerial skills? I'm not sure. I just look at him like eating sunflower seeds. Sorry, and he's just spitting them out, and it's like, and he has an angry face, and he gets to get excited, right? So that he has that little thing, he's not going to take any bull from anybody. But other than that, is he a genius? Was it his work to get him there? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Dennis Moss in with Willie Mays would have caught that after he died. Well, I mean, the Say Hey Kid did have a good glove. He didn't have that tin can on his hand that Aaron took out there tonight. That clanker, I don't know what it was. Amy Huggins with maybe not an easy play, but a routine play. It was a routine play. Should have, of course, no doubt about that. It's one of those deals that, like, if you're playing like a random, baseball game or like a video game or a thing, or a dice, baseball game or something, and you get that one result that you have to go to page 7 and then look at the table and then roll 100, and it says, "Oh, player drops ball," all runners advance or whatever. You're like, "Oh my God, that never happens!" Like, the chances of it happening are so small. And at this level, everything is magnified. So I think Judge did enough hitting in the back half of this series to avoid the focus on, boy, you really kicked away Game 5 with your error there. And
But
I think
let's
to kind of tie those two things together, I think his relationship with Boone is good enough that Booney will keep his job too.
let's look at it this way: is the Dodgers did all of that with 2 outs,
Oh
which
man,
means they had to keep executing. They had to keep
yeah,
putting the ball into play. So you can take, okay, this play. Okay, there were still 2 outs. They needed 1 out,
yep,
and they score 5 runs. Okay,
yeah, not
so
great. And
as I said,
that
it's
brings
not
us
one play. Yes,
right. That brings us to what Lisa's talking about here. They blew it outfield and first base. Yeah, Stewart. How does the pitcher? And I know Garrett Cole was tired after a 40 pitch inning or whatever. But how does the pitcher not cover first?
yeah.
That's very spring training basic, right? Like you got to cover first. Don't you got to cover first? What happened?
No
And
comment on that. No comment. I have no
No.
comment.
You can neither confirm nor deny
I
that
can't
Garrett
rationalize
Cole
it
had a
in
brain
any sort of
fart.
way. I can't rationalize it. I
No,
don't understand it. I don't. But it just became a house of cards. It just like it just felt like oh, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know. There was something in the air. But and those kind of dumb plays, distinguished that kind of that inning, and then of course, it just down, just went downhill from there, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate for me.
Locked in between those
again,
two. Oh, go ahead, Mitch.
again, it's okay. Let's play this sport in the moment. Okay, it's 5-5. Okay, it's even now. Now you're up 6-5. Okay, now you're back in position to win. And then you say, all right, Dodgers, ball's in your court. What are you going to do with it? And look what they did with it. This isn't someone who is giving away. It was more of another team going to get it. And
Yeah.
they took advantage of opportunities. So you can just say, oh, woe is us. It's, we gave up 5 runs. Well, woe is us. The Dodgers were down 5-0. You could start analyzing all of that. Now it's even. Now let's
Yeah.
go with even. And did anyone make any mistakes, after it was even? No, straight up baseball. And the Dodgers executed. If you're going to walk guys, which where there are enough walks in the series, obviously, then you're setting yourself
Yeah.
up for something probably not so good to happen. So all of these things when you're a manager is, okay, what's the moment call for? The moment calls for, I'm going to have Bueller down there. I have to go in with my best pitcher because I can close this thing out. There is nothing else after the 9th inning, but you're down 6-5 and you thought, okay, Dodgers, what are you going to do? And they
Yeah.
go up 7-6. Let's just take the game for the moment of what it is and say, okay, let's forget the first half because both teams had their moments that weren't really good. What'd you throw this pitch for? All things even, the last 3 innings. Who won the last 3 innings? The Dodgers did, and that's why they're champions.
Yeah. No, it was it definitely, started very slow for LA, but then came on in a hurry, as we kind of mentioned before. The other play in that inning, in between those two, he there was Volpe's throw to third, where he was trying to get out Hernandez. Really, the only play he had. I don't blame him for trying it. They weren't going to get a force at second, and there's no way to go crossbody back to first on that. But again, it's a small play. It was executable, but they just didn't execute it. Jazz didn't hold on to the ball. It was a kind of a weird throw from Volpe, kind of went through Kiki's legs. Again, a weird, there was just all of the things lined up in that inning from hell. And I think, the Yankees will have a lot of time to think about that inning, unfortunately, in the offseason.
Colin, you know who gets a
Yeah.
lot of MVP votes in this, and we haven't talked about him?
Freddie Freeman.
Well, that's one, but he already did. But
Yeah.
the guy who just, look at the playoffs, look what he did with the Padres series to close it out. Look what he did with the Mets to come in, and look what he does in the World Series. It's Trinan.
Yeah.
One guy. Who's your shutdown guy? He comes in, and it's like he shut people down. He had the biggest, highest leverage situations, and he did his part. And he's been doing that throughout the playoffs. And remember, he had his struggles during the regular season, but he was dominant. Just imagine the Dodgers without him in their last 2 series. I don't think they win.
No, definitely not. Amy's keeping an eye on the post-game interviews for us. She says, Teoscar said what Mitch did. We went out and took it after a litany of mistakes. That is true. and after the taking, your Dodgers are now the 2024 World Series champions. So if you thought the Dodgers and the Dodger fans were insufferable before, oh my goodness, are you in for a surprise? It's going to get a lot worse. But I, not here, not with me. I'm not insufferable. I don't think I've been I remember the first stream of this season I did at about 1:30, 2 in the morning, waiting for the games in South Korea to start. We did a little a combined NCAA preview / Dodger pregame show stream in the middle of the night, and now we've come to this, the end of the season, the last day of baseball for 2024. In all, a fun series, I think. I hope there were enough moments to make it memorable. I like that there was a big comeback at the end. It gives the Ron Howard documentary a good finish. That the Yankees are, unfortunately, I mean, it's still, I know it's going to be tough to relive, but that there was a pretty record-setting comeback today, which is dramatic, if not necessarily desired on the Yankees side. Going forward, Stu, give me a Yankees 2025 outlook. There's no reason this team can't come back to the World Series, right?
No, they definitely can, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I look. I think every off season you're looking for pitching and pitching and pitching and pitching. I don't think they really need anything big to the lineup. I like Wells. Catching is fine, but maybe Rizzo. I'd get rid of Rizzo. We need some new blood, someone fresh, someone who produces, not just a little old. And I know he has sort of veteran wisdom and he gets the guys sort of calms down every once in a while. But I don't. He doesn't produce enough.
Yeah.
And he's a little long in the tooth, and we just need someone who's a little stronger and brings in the runs more. And it's just a little more dangerous. He's just not dangerous, Rizzo, at all. He just isn't.
So you think Rizzo has lost the Riz?
I do, and it was interesting that he even got him in the first place. So it was nice for a little bit because of the Rizzo. We all know that because he's Italian and it's cool in New York and some of those things do help sometimes. But yes, and his veteran know-how is good. That's all they said. And of course, he's trying to get on base any way he can. But he needs to produce more than that. He can't just get a beat hit or get a walk of this, that, and the other. He has to hit doubles and bring runs in and home runs.
Yeah. He seems like the Yankees version of Jason Hayward.
Yeah.
Great in the clubhouse, well respected, performs a little below average.
Yes.
Can still occasionally surprise, but you're not going to expect above replacement player level play from him. And it's that's definitely an area they could address.
Yeah. And so and a third base as well, possibly, but no, they have a strong team. They're a good team, right? They are,
Yeah.
And it was good to even for a Dodger fan, it's good to beat the Dodgers, not the Yankees, not the Guardians. But it's just they're strong. Look, if you get a couple of it's just that starting pitching. If you get two really good starters or three, and I know they had some pretty good ones this year, but I'm talking about real aces. But everyone needs that, so it doesn't matter, right? That's everyone get that. Well, so. But I do have high hopes for them. I don't think they're one and done. They're too strong. If they keep Soto, they're just too dangerous. And Stanton, if he keeps healthy, a couple of hits here and there, it really helps. And Chisholm looks like he's on the come up, and I think they could really do well. I think they really do well.
Let's blow through the chat real quick, get caught up on that. Amy Huggins, Dodger fans weren't insufferable. They're nice. Philly fans, we are insufferable. No argument from me. Morgan Massey, we had 9 Californians, Judge, Freddie, Barnes, Cole, Edmund, Stanton, Tim Hill, Vesia, Dave Roberts, and Boone. So there's your California connection to this year's World Series. Lisa Calloway, thanks to the panel. Thank you, Lisa, for watching. You've been a loyal viewer since the beginning of this baseball postseason. I appreciate it. Dennis Moss, has baseball figured out how to pitch to Ohtani? Based on the World Series, I would say it is doable, but it's difficult to say because he was injured for the last 2 games. Is Ohtani pitching next year? That is the plan. And if the game had gone into extra innings tonight, who knows? Maybe he would have been out there warming up. No, he never would have been. Yes, Ohtani's the plan is for him to pitch next year, and it's funny because we're not huge Angel fans in this house, but I obviously know of him and have seen him before this year. But this year, my young fans my daughters, who are about to be 14 and 12, got to see him, much more often, and they don't know him as a pitcher at all. They just know him from his DHing this year for the Dodgers. So they're like, well, was he a good pitcher? I said, well, he started the All-Star game. So I think he's pretty good. We'll see how it goes next year. Recovery from surgery. Obviously, Walker Buehler recovered in time to close out the World Series. But it looked like, he was 1-5 during the regular season or something, 1-5, 1-6 or something, and had a very, very difficult time, and this has been 18 plus months. So you just don't know. It's good to know that the Dodgers won't have pressure to throw Ohtani, when they can have him just DH and still be like an MVP caliber player. If they can get, 30 starts out of him next year, great. Double bonus, but we'll see how that goes. Wait a minute, he's no Zach Wheeler. Well, no, who is, Amy? Really, who is? Was Jason Hayward on the postseason roster? Yes, of the Houston Astros, where he ended up signing after he was designated for assignment by the Dodgers. He did play in the Astros first round loss to the Royals. I saw he did get a couple of bats there, but and I'm guessing he'll get a ring, right? Yeah, he was with the Dodgers for 2/3 of the year.
Yeah.
Don't those guys get a ring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were our thoughts on Buehler closing out the World Series? It's genius if it works, and disaster if it doesn't. Because theoretically, if I'm not mistaken, Buehler would still be in line to start Game 7. And if we had gone to a Game 6 and Yamamoto had kind of crapped out, then we would need a Game 7, pitcher.
But you also have to look at it. This was his bullpen day anyway.
Yeah.
So he's going to go through the routines after he gets, basically a day off. Now I'm going to have my bullpen day. Then I'm taking another day of rest. Then I'm do some soft throwing. Then I start. So he was going to go through the routine
versus closeout game of the World Series.
Well, I mean, just easy throwing.
Yeah.
Which would be the day before he actually goes and pitches, so he keeps the activity going. But when you look at it, and that's the thing that's lost on it, hey, they're going to go through the same routine like they're getting ready to come in the game. And so might as well throw him, because he's going to throw as many pitches, basically 20 or 30, in just his, simulated game, so to speak. So it makes sense. But again, if all of a sudden he doesn't do well, and the thing about Buehler, which is the history, which is, except obviously in the playoffs, has been he never has a good first inning. And I thought, okay, can you just have a good first inning, because that's all what's being asked, and just trying to get on, keep that adrenaline going. But he reinvented himself, and the regular season was really his spring training. And so then, but he's as tough as they come. So he has that kind of Bob Gibson, Don Drysdale mentality. I just come after you, and I'll keep coming after you. So he's mentally there. It just would his mechanics follow through, and they did.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the Dodger pitching staff looks like coming out of spring training next year. If you've got, Yamamoto, Ohtani, a kind of resuscitated Buehler, maybe they re-sign Flaherty.
Glasnow you'll have.
Glasnow should be back.
Yeah, Gonsolin you may.
Between Gonsolin, Dustin May,
there's Grove,
Emmett Sheehan, Michael Grove. Yeah, all kinds of, people who, were called into emergency action this year.
Yeah.
Who
would you want, May or Gonsolin, by the way?
If you only got to pick one, I would pick Gonsolin, I think.
I'd pick May. Okay. All right.
Well, I don't know. It is
May,
kind of a coin flip.
May could be your closer. He'd
be fun.
He could be, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy hair, max effort, character. That'd be awesome. We'll see.
Where's Goose Gossage when you need him?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was going to try to share one more little bit of ephemera, if I may. May I? Let's see. Window. Yes. Here's a little something courtesy of my sister and the team there at Taqueria St. Mark's Place in New York City, featured in today's Los Angeles Times. A big article about the Dodger Bar in New York. and also featured yesterday on KABC 7 News. They had a reporter go by and chat with the Dodger fans who make this little bar in New York their home. So team there brought it home for us tonight. They had a great time, it looked like. And
Motley Crue,
yeah, no, a good looking group there.
And the one guy in the back there, kind of the longer hair. I mean, he could be just a little more hair in front, ZZ Top. That would work. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right. Well, guys, I got to say thank you. I know we've exhausted the chat. We're gonna go. I don't know about you. I'm gonna go rewatch some highlights and enjoy. Stu, I'm guessing you might not.
I'm going for my next best team, and I got a lot of hopes for these guys too. Yeah, so it's gonna be a rough winter for me.
No.
Just avoid Hail Marys, you'll be okay.
Seriously. So Stuart Lead, Yankee fan, dear friend, longtime producing partner of myself. I really appreciate you coming in and giving us that solid East Coast perspective that we all appreciate in a Dodgers-Yankees series. And we will definitely be in touch, my friend, and we will see you soon.
All right. It was a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Stu.
Bye-bye.
It was a lot of fun.
All right. Take care.
Have a great night, guys. And congratulations, you bastards.
I know. Sorry. Thanks. All right. Stuart Lead, producer of many, many things. And Mitch, we gotta come up with like a regular way to do this, I think, and maybe check in during the off season, maybe after the parade or something. And, just kind of, we'll do something.
Anytime to just talk. I don't care what the subject matter is. Sports obviously is fun, but just the interaction. Tony was going to join us tonight,
what
but
happened?
he's home with a miserable cold and he can't really talk. God. So he said, when there's another opportunity, or as he said, well, the next time the Cubs are in the World Series, well, neither of us will be alive, so that doesn't matter. But he wanted to do it, so I think if we construct something around the three of us and we can just talk all sorts of things, it would be baseball or just whatever the subject matter is, we'll have fun. Colin, you are the perfect complement to how I am programmed to communicate, and this has been just such a delightful reunion, and the years that we have, but we're vested into the same rhythms of life, and we got to share it in this kind of setup. But I'm going to be in LA next month. I know I sent you an email. I don't know. Yeah. I'd love to meet your family, but this has been an absolute joy and a highlight, because you know what? I get to share what we adore besides of each other, but things we have in common, but our hearts are the same. And I love sharing that with you.
Oh, thank you, Mitch. I feel the same way. It has been a real pleasure getting to take advantage of your kindness to do this on short notice, to just kind of hop on and bring all of your years of expertise and your perspective on sports, which is, something I've always appreciated. And your friendship, of course, goes without saying, is quite valued. And I do appreciate all the time you've spent jumping on here with me for these silly little post-game no-name shows. We'll get one for next year.
Well, maybe so, but we are our own living version of Abbott and Costello, so that's okay. Yes, I don't know if you're on first or who's on second or what. Yes, oh no, he's on third. I'm sorry. Yeah,
exactly.
So we're good, but I look forward to meeting your beautiful family and talking more sports in person. So we'll get that coordinated when I come down to LA in November.
Amy reminds us that Connor Brogdon is getting a World Series ring. So.
Oh, God. I had to look up his name today. Yeah. Yes, he was on the roster. Thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Well, and a special thanks to Amy, who did appear on this podcast or vidcast or stream a couple of times. Special thanks to my friend David Greenspan, who jumped in from the New York Mets perspective. Special thanks to Frank Warren, who was here for the Dodgers-Padres series. And thought we were just doing a FaceTime after the first game, and then found himself, live streaming to an audience of dozens. It has been a real pleasure and a real fun doing this kind of thing. But Mitch, I want to again say thank you, and I will see you soon. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, and to those 3.7 million viewers and listeners we had, we will miss you, but Colin will let you know when we're back, and it'll be showtime again. The
That's
show
right.
with no name. We're good.
Like and subscribe for alerts. That's all I'm saying. All right, Mitch. Have a good night, my friend.
Go Dodgers. World
All right.
champ. Bye-bye.
Woo! Yay.
Bye.
Mitch Massey, Central Coast sportscasting legend, KSBY anchor for many years, and a mention in his own right. So that's it for the season, which is crazy. I can't believe baseball is over, but it is. And now we can, begin counting the days until pitchers and catchers report. But for now, at least, I think we get to enjoy. As a Dodger fan, we do get to enjoy the moment and see what I think Friday is the parade. What's today? Wednesday. So Friday probably will be a parade. Friday or maybe next Monday. I don't. They had a couple dates scratched out or circled as like potential, depending on when they won. If they won, if they did win, they had some dates. And so yeah, so maybe Friday there'll be a parade, and we'll see what goes on from there. But again, I did want to just say a very sincere thank you to everyone who has taken the time to comment, taken the time to watch this silliness, taken the time to share it with your friends. This has been real fun for me, and I hope it has been fun for you as well. We will see you next time. Hopefully not too far away from now. When the time comes, like I said, like and subscribe. When the bell goes off, stop on by. We'll be chatting about something fun, I'm sure. All right. Good night, and congratulations, Dodgers, on winning the World Series.